Hi, friends. Um, Wonderful morning to you. I normally don't do morning videos, but today felt different, so I'm doing this today. Um, I'm overheating. I watched a David Bowie documentary yesterday, and it's affected me a little bit. I'm a very large David Bowie fan. Yeah, big fan. So, yeah, I'm happy that and this may sound pretty bad, but I'm happy that I wasn't aware really of him until recently because if I had been aware of his passing years ago, it would have affected me more than I think I'd realize because like just watching that documentary yesterday, already like crying. I was close to tears cuz anyway. Uh so really interesting. My favorite thing about him is learning more about him. I really liked listening to him talk about his different characters and what they meant to him or what parts of him they were because I really resonated with that. My boys are a little loud right now. In college, I had to come up with a lot of different characters for a lot of different stories. Sorry, my boys are being crazy. He'll find his way. He'll find his way. There we go. Okay. Finnegan is not a strong flyer. Mocha is definitely the strongest flyer out of the two. Finnegan finds his way. He always finds his way. He's not very good at it, but he's okay. So yeah, I had to make lots of characters, and I never really thought about how they really were just facets of me portrayed in a different way. And watching the documentary yesterday, I hi Mocha. Anyway, I could see how I'm sorry for any like air noises on this microphone. I'm trying. I really am. I promise. Anyway, thanks for landing on my head, sir. I never really thought about how the characters were just different parts of me until not really recently. I had a therapist when I went to college. I really fought for that hard because for some reason getting therapy at my college was a little difficult at first. And the more I talked about my characters with my therapist, the more she started asking about them and trying to relate them to me because a lot of the characters that I had, a big motif or a recurring theme with them was that they did not feel, either they weren't human or they did not feel human and then invariably became something altogether unhuman, whether that came from themselves or from underlying factors in their environment, manipulation, anything like that. And in the end, they still are inhuman, but they learn that they're not without humanity. And that I feel was a wish. That that ending for my a lot of my characters anyway, it's a wish for me that So anyway, listen to David Bowie talking about specifically like Ziggy Stardust and how he felt not necessarily better, but when he killed off Ziggy, he was able to come back to himself a little bit more. And I kind of understand that feeling lost in something in a character. I resonate with that quite a bit. So yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that today just a little bit. I think I'd like to share some of my characters eventually. I would like to show each of my characters. I think that would be fun, and then give a little sniglet of each of them. So, but to do that, I think I would have to do like a PowerPoint presentation type thing, and that takes time. So, we'll see. He also talked a lot about how important exploring the different facets of your personality is. That kind of exploration is very important, and I really liked that because I think a lot of my friends and people that I've known, and also people that I've seen on the internet, are really into the idea of, I don't want to say multiple personalities, but having different facets. You know, there's a lot of people that say, like, oh, there's like multiple people in me, and like things like that. And sometimes it's a little cringe, but I think that if we allowed each other to really explore the different parts of ourselves without shame, we wouldn't feel the need to act out. You know what I mean? Not act out. I don't know if that's the right word, but for example, I've been watching a lot of true crime, and a main scapegoat type of thing for a lot of criminals is that they have multiple parts to their personality, or that they've got multiple personality disorder, DID, anything like that. And whether that be because they want to, do the insanity plea or whatever else, I'm not I'm not a magician of knowledge, okay? I don't know exactly everything, but I think that if I'm trying to come at this from like a very non-judgmental point of view, not that criminals deserve non-judgment, they deserve judgment. Absolutely, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if we maybe allowed people to explore these things and say that they're not horrible, or that you're weird for these things, having different people, I don't know. I'm not saying that would keep people from doing crime. That's not my point. I don't know, being a little more open about things and exploring. Just because you have different voices in your head or different people, sure, sometimes that can be an underlying disorder or an illness. When it's the harmless type of like, oh, I feel like dressing like this today, and you feel like being a little different. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, or even in online spaces, and just being a little different. I like that. I have several, almost like 15 different email accounts, and each of them have a different name. Some of these were because I wanted to sign up for different things with a different email. We've all done that. But also, I really liked changing up who I was for different periods of my life. There was a long time where I went by O'Malley online. That was like my thing. Yes, I watched too much Red versus Blue, I understand. I went by O'Malley. And then Antares, or I'm probably not even saying that right, but that one, like Constellation, went by that. Um, my artist signature is A and O for Antares O'Malley, because that was just my call sign basically for the longest time. Then I went by Carter. For a couple years, I thought I was non binary, and that was safe for me. And I feel like that was very important to my development. I am no longer non binary. I don't think I ever really was, but I do think I needed the safety that that term provided for me for a time. And, maybe if I was a little more educated, I wouldn't have labeled myself that. But at the time, Carter needed to take over, That personality was not personality, because I'm not saying like these are different, like, personalities, but just different facets of yourself sometimes need a little more stage time. And so there was Carter, and then Ren, which I'm kind of on right now with my job. I go by Ren. I don't go by my normal name, because that's the professional me. That's the me that does the job and calls people and is very professional and is a grown up. And when I'm at home, I don't have a name. I mean, I have a name with my mom, but sometimes it's just I'm the man with no name. I'm Manco from Fistful of Dollars or some. I don't know. The good, the bad, the ugly. Man with no name. I'm him. I'm that. Yeah. So I'm all for exploring different parts of our personality, who we are, Isn't he so handsome? So handsome. Mine has really fucked up tail feathers. He likes to back himself into the corner of the cage when he's sleeping and put his feathers through the bars, and that will kind of mess them up in the back. But I love my son. Um, trying to, there was another point to that. I had a comment to add on to that. I can't remember. You remember what I was gonna say? He tried to eat my microphone. I'm gonna have to like delete the audio from right there because I squeaked and it probably was very loud when he grabbed it. He's a brat. He is such a brat. He's lucky I love him so much. Yes. Okay, goodbye. He yanked the microphone from my hand. How rude is that? I can't believe I raised such a rude son. Unbelievable. Yeah, I'm all for trying something new. I did that a lot when I was in school. I really liked the idea of reinventing oneself. I thought that was fun and very, I don't know, it provided some kind of control in my life when I felt that I had none. So, exploring things through dress and through makeup and manners of speech, whether this is for good or not, I was really self conscious of the way that I spoke for a while, and mostly because I have something called a tongue thrust. It may be called something different. That's what my mom told me when I was younger, and I've just stuck with it. So, technology and terms may have gone on in that time, and I don't know what it's called now, but basically, I have a lisp. I guess that's the best way to explain it. So, I spent a long time with my mom doing tongue twisters when I was younger, and learning to hide the tongue thrust and my lisp, which comes out when I'm very sleepy. So, working on how I spoke. And then other times I was like, oh, I want an accent for this word or something, or picking up things from other people that I was around. And I like to think that I do speak very differently than I used to. That's cool. I mean, it's fun being the creator, it's fun being your own architect, building yourself up different ways. It's very interesting. Anyway, I've been talking for 16 minutes. I love David Bowie. I hope he's having a great time where he is right now. Love him. Love you. I hope you have a great day, great weekend. Happy Saturday. Um, I hope you like the audio quality. I changed it just for the person who told me that my audio quality was bad. I know it was. Thank you very much for calling me out. So, yeah, I've got a microphone now and I could do like ASMR. I could like whisper. Bye, friends. Bye, my lovelies. Have a good day. Goodbye. Goodbye.